Check it out.
Hello. Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay, cool.
Hello. Every Rush song.
Hello and welcome to the Rush Discush, where the discuss is Rush, and to every Rush song, where we will discuss every Rush song. And tonight, we're discussing two songs with our new friends from the Rush Discush. Hey, Adam
Hello,
and Julianne,
everybody.
how are y'all doing?
Doing great.
We're great. Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us, because we're going
Yes.
to
Yeah.
It's
not
good to
really
be
a
had.
simulcast, but we're going to both release on Friday.
Yep. Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah. And I mean, this is kind of long in the working because I don't even remember when we first touched base on Twitter. It was like, it feels like a century ago. And then we finally got back and forth and then finally were able to make it work. But yeah, I'm super excited that we can finally do this thing.
Yeah, and that was totally my fault because I went and looked at messages for something else last week and I saw, oh man, he emailed me like 2 months ago. I am the worst. And it's true. I am the worst. Yeah.
It
All
worked
right.
out though, because we had a bunch of random stuff pop up anyway. So
Yeah, the timing ended up being good.
Yeah.
Well, along with every Rush song, my two friends from long ago below me on the Zoom grid here, my friend Jay, and then diagonally down, Bill Brady. I can't think of the Brady Bunch names. Tom Brady? I don't know. We're not the Brady
Mike.
Bunch, so.
Mike Brady. It
Yes,
was Mike Brady.
Say hello to Mike Brady, ladies and gentlemen, in the bottom corner.
Here's the story of lovely lady.
Tim knows a lot of 70s songs. So we'll have that. So how did y'all, I know that probably people that listen to Rush Discush know this, but I think that neither of our every Rush song listeners will know, Adam and Julianne, how y'all got into Rush.
So I kind of was born into Rush. my dad was a huge Rush fan, and my mom, she wasn't into all of the albums or anything, but she did really like Permanent Waves, and so I grew up with Spirit of Radio. I don't have a memory where I don't remember listening to that song. But when I was really little, it was the Salesman song. That's what I called it. But no, so then as I grew older, I only knew a couple of the songs like Free Will and Spirit of Radio, Entre Nous. And then when I was like 12 or so, I was like, okay, I want to find out more about this. And then just kind of went crazy. And then my first concert actually was the R30 concert. And that's when it kind of solidified that was my favorite band of all time. And I just got super into listening to everything. And it was I was like the perfect age to be able to discover the albums, because I could actually remember a time when I didn't know Moving Pictures. And so I can remember where I was when I first heard YYZ and had my brain explode. So so yeah, I've just kind of been a rabid diehard Rush fan ever since.
I have an opposite story. I didn't like Rush growing up because I don't know. I just thought that it was, very many people are like, who's this guy with the high voice? And I'm not enjoying this at all. And except for I had a mix CD as a teenager that had Limelight and Closer to the Heart. And I was like, well, these two songs are fine, I guess. So whatever. But then it wasn't until Adam and I were married and I think we had our first kid at that point, and we were like, hey, let's both show each other music that we like from our youth. And we'll listen to a different album or a different song every week or something. So it was Adam's turn to show me stuff. And he's like, okay, you're going to start listening to Rush. And I was like, fine, I guess, whatever. I think 2018 or something.
Yeah.
2018. And so then he's like, we have to listen to every song, but you have to you have to listen with the album sleeve and you have to look at all the lyrics. And I was like, all right, that's fine, I guess. And so it was that kind of listening that then completely hooked me, because reading the lyrics is a way different experience listening to Rush because you actually get it. And
Yeah.
also I was post college at that point with a music degree, so I had a wider appreciation and understanding of music. That I think that made a huge difference for me. And so then I was like ready to receive Rush at that point.
When
And
the
so we
student is
did,
ready.
we listened to every single album, every single song, the whole discography. And then at that point, I was completely hooked and literally listened to nothing else for like the next 2 years. Not even joking. Like it was just Rush. And then like now we have a Rush podcast. So you just never know.
Well done,
So
Adam.
cool.
Well
Yeah.
done. You might be
Thanks.
husband of the year with that story, I think. in my opinion.
Yeah.
And wasn't it Hold Your Fire was the big one for you, right? Isn't that the song? Did I have that right? Was that the big song that
Oh, for me or for
not
Adam?
Hold Your Fire? I mean Mission. Wasn't that the big
Mission.
song that you
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that
Mission.
yeah, Mission was definitely a huge one. But it was so interesting because like as with me having already gone through like the stages of getting obsessed about a certain song, certain album, and seeing Julianne's like, oh, okay, Grace Under Pressure is the one she's listening to over and over
Oh
again.
yeah,
And
obsessed.
then it was Hold Your Fire over and over again.
Yeah, that's
and
true. Yeah, I had an obsession with Roll the Bones for a good long time too.
Yeah.
But the only sad thing is that I got into Rush too late because I never got to go to a concert. So I'm pretty bummed about that. But that's okay. We watched them on the projector in our
Tim,
house.
You've upset Tim.
Oh no, Tim's triggered. Tim,
I'm
she's fine.
sorry. I'm so
She's fine,
sad.
Tim. She's doing well. She's okay.
I feel a silent scream begin inside.
I'm sorry. I know. But
But
Yeah,
how?
you are
think
far
you
from the
just
bringer
feel-
of balance, Tim.
So
You
hang
feel
on a
sad
second.
that she didn't get to see Rush. That's why you.
Yeah.
So you weren't.
it's
So
not
hang
anger.
on. Now maybe my timeline's a little off here. So you weren't quite yet a Rush fanatic for R40.
Nope.
Okay, at least tell me this,
Oh no.
and so help me. If you haven't, I'm going to send mine bullets your way.
Oh no!
Can we say
You
that?
have-
Not again, Tim.
You
Not again.
have watched the concerts.
Yes. We
Okay,
watched
on-
concerts and
Okay.
we've watched all documentaries more than one time.
You don't understand how that just saved your life.
Yes. And on in surround sound on our giant projector.
Nice.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Very
it's
nice.
as close
And you
as I
can
can
watch?
possibly get.
Okay.
They have
Yes.
videos of some of the concerts.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, we watch them. Our kids like to watch them.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Oh man, even raising the kids right.
Yeah.
That is- Dude.
Oh my
you
gosh,
just
yeah. We'll
rock.
like put the songs on in the car and our oldest son, he'd be like, "Oh, I love this one. I like this music." And I'm like, "Yes."
Yeah. I was working out
Yes.
Well
I've-
done, mom and
a
dad.
couple months ago, and Love Strangiato came on, and our middle child came up. He had to run up and tell me. He's like, he's 2, and he had to tell me, I really like this music. And he ran off to play more. But
Yes.
Love
That's
it.
awesome.
Yeah. But anyway, what about y'all?
Well, I was introduced to Rush in a really small, poor town up in Delaware, which is completely not true.
I was gonna say.
I spent my youth as a huge Osmond fan, and then I progressed to Kiss, and then AC/DC.
The natural
then-
progression.
The
Yeah,
natural
the
progression.
natural
It's like the
progression of
1-4-5 of
Right.
Yes.
musical rock interest.
And but my next door neighbor had bought on record album Permanent Waves. So, and I was over there hanging out, and yeah, they played Spirit of Radio and Free Will, and just like you, Julianne, I was like, man, it's like a girl singing. I wasn't paying attention to the music. It was just the girl singing. But then as I started to take drum lessons and getting into playing drums, it's a magnet. It just brings you in. It's like Cygnus X1 to the Rocinante, it's mysterious, invisible force just sucked it right in. And that's what Rush did to me, listening to the drums. And
so Rush is your black hole.
That's twice he's referred to himself as Cygnus indirectly. So
Yes.
interesting.
Yes, I am the god of balance. So that was it for me.
Now, Jay, on our second episode, had a really interesting story about his introduction to Rush, which turned out to not have anything to do with Rush.
It's true. I think it was about my first kiss.
Yeah,
not the band, but
he apparently didn't phrase the question well, and
yes, I misunderstood the question. Yeah, my introduction to Rush was when years ago when there was a local wrestling group that was very, regionally they were pretty popular, the Von Erichs and the lot. And one of the Von Erichs, the music that he came out to was Tom Sawyer. I'm like, oh, I like that song. I'm like, who is this band? And I kind of listened to that song a little bit, but didn't really pay much attention to Rush until I met Tim and this guy named Billy. Remember Billy, Tim?
Yeah, Billy.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Shane, and you guys kind of introduced me to Rush. And I remember I'm like, I think I don't know if it was riding with Tim or Shane, but it was they were in bands, and I was going to see them. They were rehearsing, and we're listening to Rush, and I'm like, what is this? What is this magical stuff? And I when I heard of Rush, I always thought Rush was like, I guess in my mind, they were going to be like this really loud, just screaming, really heavy thing. And I'm like, these guys are amazing. And then, of course, being a band geek on top of that, just, I think I don't know a single guy in band that didn't like Rush.
That was true.
That was my problem. I wasn't in band. I was in orchestra. I should have been in band.
No.
I would have liked Rush.
What instrument?
Violin.
Oh, cool.
Ah, cool.
Okay, so
We
have
needed
you
more strings.
have you figured out how to play the string parts on Nobody's Hero
I haven't
or
looked
The
at
Garden?
it. No. I probably could
Man.
figure it out, but I haven't sat down and done it.
All right, you're excused from the podcast. I need you to go learn
Wow.
it right now and
Wow.
perform it. You got
Man.
20 minutes.
Wow. Tim's rough. I'm
I'll
telling
get back to you.
We were not told there would be sight reading today.
or you can go. Have you ever listened to Exit Stage Right?
Some of it, yeah.
Yeah, it's the string quartet doing songs from Exit Stage Left. Jay and Shane, you're looking at me like I'm an idiot.
Because
That's
you
just the way
are,
we
and I
usually
didn't
look at you, Tim.
But it is.
Why is
I didn't know
It's
that.
called Exit Stage Right, and it's a string quartet that.
Oh, I bet that's awesome.
Is that the Vitamin String Quartet?
Yes.
Is it? Oh, they're good.
Yeah.
Yes. Now,
It's fun to learn.
new things. Yeah. Well, apparently I'm really truly the only Rush fan on our podcast.
Apparently, that's what you keep saying.
Apparently.
Well, he is the subject matter expert for sure.
It's true. I mean, look where he's recording from now.
Yeah, he's in a picture, and it's
I'm
It's
at
moving.
St. Catherine's Cathedral. I don't know why these people are just standing behind me. Shut
They
up
haven't-
back there.
That lady looks upset, and you're not even trying to comfort
She
her.
just won't even stop crying. Look at her.
she's just she's
Known her.
just sad,
Known her.
just sad.
And that one kid right there is just screaming. I'm about to throw my shoe at it. That'll
Tim's
learn
a-
him.
Well, when I was a kid, my parents they read some book about how all rock musicians were Satan worshipers and all these other bad things. So they made me throw away all of my records, and I wasn't allowed to listen to any rock and roll or anything. And then I was at a party once, and somebody was playing. It was a Permanent Waves, because I heard Spirit of Radio and Free Will, and I just stopped and I went over to their record player and I just kept playing those two songs over and over again. And I found a cassette and I recorded them so that I could take them home and sneak them into my Walkman at home and listen
Oh
to it.
my gosh.
Nice.
And I just decided, and that was it. I mean, because I was at first, I was like, yeah, I can't listen to them. If all those people are bad, I can't listen to those groups. And I was okay with it. But then when I heard the Rush songs, I was like, no, this is what I'm going to listen to no matter what.
Mhm. Awesome.
In fact, can I tell you a real quick story about Shane?
Oh boy.
Now, Shane won't remember this because he doesn't remember anything further than 9 years ago. But when we
Well,
were
after the accident,
well, yeah, after the accident. But when we were in junior high, we had this little.
there was no accident.
Yeah, it was like this little church group thing. It wasn't really associated with one specific church. I don't remember, but it was called Alpha and Omega. And so once a week, the leaders of this, they'd plan it out, but you would go to somebody's house and yada, 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 yada. Well, this one week it was being held at my house. And Shane and our friend Kevin,
Okay, now I remember.
went back to my room because now at this point, not only am I listening to Rush, but I've opened up my eyes to Judas Priest and Ozzy.
Oh yeah.
And they turn on my record player and they're playing. It's a live concert called Speak of the Devil. and they go back there and they're just cranking it, and then they both come out and they're holding the album cover, which has got Ozzy sitting on this throne holding a cross with, well, we all figured it was Jello coming out of his mouth, and hey, look what Tim's got. Yeah. Yeah, trying to throw me under the bus there.
I would never do that to you now, Tim.
No.
Okay, now. Yeah.
Well, cool, fun. All right, so usually the Rush Discuss, you guys will have your brackets of Rush songs, and you have a tournament style where you pick 2 songs every episode and you discuss them. And then at the end of the show, you pick a winner, and the winner has to be unanimous, right? You can't split, no ties. Yeah. And so for your next bracket, which was the Odd Ducks bracket, we picked a couple of songs for tonight for today that you two don't have paired up in your bracket. And so the 5 of us, so I see 4 squares. The 5 of us are going to do a preseason game of your upcoming bracket with which songs?
Well, we've got Vital Signs and The Twilight Zone. So
very nice.
Yeah, so the
Very
whole
nice.
idea with this bracket with the Odd Ducks, and the reason it's called the Odd Ducks is because all these songs are kind of either outliers in Rush's discography, or like there's not really a way to kind of they don't necessarily fit with the rest of the album as far as like musical ideas or like lyrics sometimes, but it's still 100% Rush, but it's like shows you kind of their other side, and so we've got the Twilight Zone, Vital Signs, but other stuff like Cinderella Man, Kid Gloves, Between Sun and Moon, ones where it's like it's a different kind of sound than other their stuff. And so with that also we're doing more kind of goofy things, like we've already recorded but set to release later down the bracket, where guess the AI art, guess the song from the AI art, guess the
Oh.
the song from just the drum part alone, stuff like that, where we're just kind of having more fun. Versus last bracket was a little bit more serious, so this is kind of a way to kind of have that kind of mirror what Rush is, where they have some of their more serious songs, and then you go see them live, and Alex is ranting about random crap, and so, so yeah, just kind of a way to honor Rush and their weirdness as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
that'll be
they
fun.
are Canadian. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the only difference tonight is we don't have to have unanimous
Yes.
choice. We can all choose
Yeah.
what we want to be the winner for ourselves, because that would be really hard to choose one winner.
Oh,
Yeah.
there will be a winner.
We're all winners.
We're all winners because
we're
we like
fans
Rush.
of Rush.
Because we like
Exactly.
Rush. Yeah.
Exactly.
We won the cool
If
music.
you want to be a
lottery.
winner, be a Rush fan.
Exactly.
That's right. Nobody said that in 1982.
Nobody says that
or
now.
or 92.
Yeah.
We're still
2002.
weirdos right now. Like,
Well, it's just like what Dave Grohl said, inducting them into the Rock and Roll Hall of the Fame. The Hall of the Fame? Yeah, Hall of the Fame.
Yeah.
Hall of Notes.
When did Rush become cool? Yep.
Trick question. They
yeah.
were never cool.
All
They were
right.
awesome.
You just say blah blah blah. Blah
Yeah.
blah blah blah.
Blah, 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 blah.
That was so funny when I showed her that video. The whole time she's like, "I cannot believe he did that."
But I can now.
That's so great.
Oh man.
I just love
Dave
their
Grohl.
sense of humor. That band just has such a great sense of humor.
So Twilight Zone. Shall we start with Twilight Zone?
Yeah,
Of the
perfect.
two, since T comes before V. Who wants to go first? Let's see. Jay.
Oh man.
Well, and you know what it was, Jay? I'll tell
What?
you, Jay. You had me at Lamp.
I do love Lamp. I
Jay,
love Lamp.
do you really love Lamp, or are you
I
just
love
naming
Lamp.
off things that you see?
I love Lamp.
Okay.
That's gonna get old sometime, but I not anytime in the
It's
near.
never going to get old to me.
Not in 2023.
Right.
So the Twilight Zone. I listened to that probably 20 or 30 times in the last couple of days. And first of all, I like it, which there's that. But what I noticed about it is that it's more of a classic rock sound to it than your typical first album Rush. With the guitar in the beginning, it sounds like Bostonish.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah.
And then during the chorus, Getty's vocals, I noticed they were moving from the right speaker, then slowly to the left speaker. And then the second time through the chorus, after Alex's bluesy guitar thingy, he doubles the vocal sung and whispered. I'd never noticed that before.
Mhm.
And I thought that was kind of cool.
It is such a cool effect.
It was ASMR before ASMR was cool. Or
Exactly.
was it AMSR?
ASMR.
So I went and looked up to see what this was, what it was about. And it's about the Twilight Zone. But Neil Peart was a big fan of the Twilight Zone. So there's two verses. The first verse of this song is based upon an episode called "Will the Real Martian Please Stand Up," which is kind of cool. And then the second verse is based on one called "Stop Over in Quiet Town." I don't know about you guys, but I've seen every episode of Twilight Zone probably multiple times. I just love that show.
I'm not sure if I've ever watched a single episode all the way through.
Really?
I know. And
Wow.
That's weird.
All right, Tim, you're
Yeah.
excused from the show.
Yeah, Tim.
Thank you very kindly.
All the episodes. Go watch all the episodes of Twilight Zone and then come back. You have 20 minutes.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, I really like that song. And again, I found it to be. I did. I heard a little Boston in there. I heard a little classic rock sound to it. And by the way, guys, I texted you guys earlier this week, Tim and Shane. Uh, I have been opposed to discussing the first Rush album because Neil Peart wasn't in the band, and it really the lyrics were more your typical classic rock and roll lyrics type of thing. And I went back and listened to that this week, and I can admit it. I was wrong. It's a pretty good album, but I wouldn't call it a Rush album. They weren't really Rush yet, even though they were called Rush. But
and Tim's struggling tonight.
I thought that was a great album, but I digress.
Before the Beatles got their first record deal and they had Pete Best as the drummer, they were still the Beatles.
Did they record with Pete Best on drums?
I mean, I think they did probably some demo recordings.
No, they didn't.
They didn't. Okay. I don't know, but they were still the Beatles.
Well, yeah,
okay?
it's still Rush, and you can
That's
hear
definitely a
Rush there, but it was a very different. It was a different sound for Rush. It wasn't what the Rush became.
Well, right, but I mean, everybody goes through that.
Not me. I've been exactly the same since I was 2.
Okay. All right. Well,
we will get to that album eventually on our podcast.
Oh,
eventually.
Eventually. Very, very eventually.
But yeah, I like the song. I really didn't pay attention to it that much because, the other songs, because that's such a great album.
It is the odd duck, is it not?
It is, but I totally agree with that. It is an odd duck. That's a good way to put it.
The cool thing about this song is you hear the phrase, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So you think you get a photograph that can have all this information in it, 1,000 words worth, but then you take 3 episodes of a show and so maybe an hour, if you're looking at commercial breaks and all that. Mm-hmm. And then 60 minutes of a show, then condensed into 4 verses of a song. Who else can condense 60 minutes of pictures into 4 verses of a song other than Neil? That's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I think I could do it probably, but
other than Neil and Jay.
No.
It's true.
I just love there was a period of time where I listened to this song over and over and over. Like it was because Rush was the impetus for me to try to learn guitar, because I'd played piano since I was 4, but then Rush was like what got me to be like, okay, I really want to do guitar, and Twilight Zone was one of those songs. Fly By Night was the main one, but then Twilight Zone, I was just like, I love this guitar sound. It because that guitar sound stuck out way more to me than the rest of the guitar sounds on 2112, just because it was so different. It had more of that, reverb delay kind of like, I don't know, silvery quality to it with that opening riff. And then obviously being a huge fan of the Twilight Zone growing up, to have a song that was just about the TV show, it was super cool.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the music of it matches the vibe of the show so much. Just it's so strange sounding, and like the show is so strange.
Yeah.
And like the guitar solo, like I feel like it's almost like the Twilight Zone in guitar solo form, if that makes sense, because it's just so, I don't know, I'm gonna use the word strange again, and like winding, and makes you think, and it's almost like you're watching an episode of the Twilight Zone trying to figure out what the heck is happening, really.
I would say that I think that the episode that the guitar solo was most like would be the episode that she hates.
You ruined my life making me watch this episode.
Oh, no.
The Time Enough at Last episode about the guy who all he wants to do is read. His wife doesn't let him read. His boss doesn't let him read.
Burgess
Like the
Meredith.
bomb goes off,
Yeah.
destroys the town, and he's the only one left. He goes to read, his glasses fall off.
Yes.
He can't read.
That's the
And
worst.
that's how it
Think
ends.
about it.
And I feel like Alex's solo kind of does that, because at the end it just like does this bend up and it doesn't really resolve.
Yeah,
And
it
so I
doesn't.
feel like it kind of leaves you hanging and like, well, what's going on? Where's this going?
Yeah, it really matches.
That's cool observation. I like that.
Wow. Very cool.
Yeah. That was a great episode, by the way. But yeah, it pissed me off.
It still
Come
haunts me.
on. Poor Burgess Meredith.
Tim, do you like it?
Yes, I do like the song Twilight Zone. Now, I had because since I wasn't a Twilight Zone TV show watcher, I just thought this was Neil just coming up with, I knew about what the show was, that it was all weird stuff, yada, yada, yada. So that's what I figured. I had no clue until much later on that, yeah, he was taking scenes from, a couple of different episodes. When I listened to it, and I heard it once today and yesterday, and only one of them on purpose. So,
Wait, what?
well, no, yesterday I put on my Rush playlist and I hit Twilight
Oh,
Zone. Today
gotcha.
I just had it on a shuffle. Yeah, Jay, I was shuffling a Rush playlist and it came on. So the one thing I remember at first going, well, why don't they do the do 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 do? That's Twilight Zone right there. But it's okay.
It's probably
it's okay. It's okay. The song, except for, I mean, they could have done these lyrics, but the vocalization's nothing like this band. But to me, it's very Pink Floydish.
Get that.
Especially
Yeah.
do 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 do.
Yeah, it's kind of a Roger Waters style.
Yes.
Do 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 do. That's from the Twilight Zone. It's kind of funny you should mention that. From the show, that melody.
Yeah, just
Is
It's part of it. Yeah.
Is it, Jay? Is it
Hell,
funny?
I don't know. Well, it is funny. I think it's funny
tonight. Wow.
I think it fits on the 2112 album perfectly. Yeah, it's sort of, and it's not one of those songs where you would say, yeah, they got their gagas out on, but I think they were having fun with this song, nothing really crazy drum wise, some really nice guitar playing. I like the sort of kind of bluesy feel to me in the verses.
Because they switched from like a swing beat in the verses to more of a straight beat in the
chorus. Yeah. So
but it's still so smooth that you
besides the very creepy Geddy Lee whisper track, which just it's just
it was. I thought the voice was coming from my head, but thank you.
Yeah, but yeah, and that's a little creepy. Now, for those of you that have indulged in this, it is a really good song to listen to. If you are inebriated, what's the word? It's a certain word the French call I don't know what.
Inebriated?
Maybe if you've had a couple of these, or 4, or maybe you were smoking that wacky weed. And you're just laying back.
Bangkok.
Exactly. You smoke out during Passage to Bangkok, and then you're just, oh yeah, Twilight Zone, man. oh, what the heck? What is that whispering? Yeah.
That would be kind of funny. I didn't think about that. When was the last time you actually smoked a joint, Tim?
It was 1969, May 21st.
Wow, that's
So
impressive.
before
Before you were born.
That's probably the best time.
It was, no, I was about 7, 8 months old at the
Oh,
time.
okay.
Yeah. But
Good for
see, my parents were, hippies. So of course I was brought up on wacky weed.
They put it in your bottle.
My mother did not believe in pacifiers.
Explains a lot, doesn't it, Jay?
She believed in big old fat joints, and she would stick that in,
Oh my gosh.
And after a couple of minutes, I'd stop crying.
I bet.
But you got really hungry though.
Yes, golly.
Wow. Okay, Twilight Zone. What about vital signs?
Oh, wait a second.
Vital signs.
Shane.
Shane,
Oh.
you didn't talk about your
I guess
thoughts.
I did. Okay, well, yeah. I guess lyrically, super cool that he could take 3 episodes of a show and condense it down into so few words. I do like the same things y'all said, the kind of spacey, eerie sound in the recording. Tim and I were talking yesterday about one of the we're talking about this band that I used to be in, and we recorded this album. We had this one song, Tripping Out, and I said, hey Tim, remember when our drummer in that band, remember Todd whispered I don't remember if it was the chorus of the verse, but I guess it was a verse. And I said, guess where I stole that from?
Yeah.
But
Tripping Out, man.
Yeah, and we were joking about Passage to Bangkok, but yeah, it goes really well with the whole vibe of 2112, and it kind of just completes the circle, I think, of just that weirdness of 2112, especially. I don't know, I guess following Caress of Steel maybe doesn't seem all that weird, but in the grand scheme of what you might hear on the radio, I'm sure that people that were when 2112 came up, no matter what they were listening to, or the Twilight Zone, they were just, what is this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always thought that the B-side of 2112 was kind of like them just relaxing and having a good time after doing the beast that is 2112.
Yeah.
Kind of like the calm after the storm or peace after the war. Sorry about that. I almost left off my Twilight Zone.
How dare you, sir?
I'm
How
sorry.
dare you, sir?
All right, enough from you.
Jay's all in your hands.
Hey, you got to cut him off, or
You do.
he'll start talking about science, the science of Twilight Zone,
I'm
and
trying
the
to avoid
mythology of Twilight Zone. It's just a song. It's a song about a TV show.
Yeah.
Because
Let it go.
Do you know where time and space collide, Tim? Because I was reading the other day. Just kidding. And speaking of science, it's going to be really hard to not do that for vital signs. So I'm going to need a lot of restraint.
Oh, here we
for
go.
vital signs.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
So who wants to start us off with vital signs?
Well, I will, since I was so lame for Twilight Zone. So vital signs, you think vital signs, pulse, heart rate, that sort of thing, to measure a human's health or well-being physically. And I think with the song Vital Signs, that Neil took these scientific terms and phrases and phenomenon, and there's some meteorology in it, and I guess some chemistry and electricity, and even some computer science. And he uses these phrases to kind of describe the human function or form, the human condition.
Mm-hmm.
And like these phrases as the vital signs for how well a human is doing, not necessarily just physically, not with their health, but just, I think, more experiential. And then, so he has things like everybody's got to deviate from the norm and elevate from the norm, and everybody needs reverse polarity, and because that's usually a bad thing, right? Reverse polarity, just give, like if you have it in your outlet and you have something plugged in, it's going to start a fire. So it's a bad thing. But then here he is saying that we need it. And the line about pause, rewind, replay, it was funny. I didn't really ever get what that was about until I was listening to another podcast, the Something for Nothing, the Rush Cast. And the guy pointed out that that line reminded him of the movie Groundhog Day. It was Steve from the Rush Cast. Pause, rewind, replay, where you get into a routine, into habits, and you just do the same thing every day. And that's your routine. And you don't ever deviate from the norm. And I think that Neil is using this song to say that when you just live that routine life and you don't have any deviations from what you usually do, that you don't have, your vital signs aren't showing that you're very healthy experientially, I guess. Is that a word? Experientially.
It is now.
It is now. And then I was going to try to work in lamp. We already did the lamp gag, but I was going to say, I think he's kind of saying that if you're not living life in that way and just doing the same things over and over again, that you're not really any more alive than a lamp. Because if you think about it, like, and I picked lamp so they could do the gag, but in general, not any more alive than an appliance, because without the electricity flowing into it and doing whatever it's made to do and then flowing out of it, it's really nothing.
I love toaster.
Do you, Tim? Do you love toaster, or do you just see a toaster and?
I love toaster. I love toaster.
Okay. I love toaster too. I like toast.
Toast is good.
Toast
is good.
Here's to Rush.
Here's to toasts.
Well, that's some stream of consciousness right there, isn't it? Yeah, and then musically, it's got a lot of Alex's. I say it probably every episode how I love Alex's kind of ska-esque style. And then what's cool about this one is that it starts off and he's doing the accents on 2 and 4 verse, and then he changes it up and he's on 1 and 3, and then he pauses and it comes at an odd time. And if you're trying to count it, you get a little mixed up because it's not just the same straight 2 and 4. But if you're just listening to it casually, you don't even notice it. It's just so smooth and flows with the song. And then the just kind of reminds me of like the graph. If someone was doing an EKG, that kind of reminds me of vital signs even itself. It sounds like vital signs.
That's awesome.
I kept it short. How'd I do, guys? Did I keep it short enough?
I thought that was great. I enjoyed it.
Thanks. That's from Tim. That's a compliment.
So
Yeah, I love the part of the lyrics that you brought up too. Pause, we rewind, we replay. If I could talk,
talking is hard.
Rewind. No, but the warm memory chip, random sample, hold the one you need. And Neil is so great at taking just in short phrases of being able to kind of take you on a mental journey, because pause, rewind, replay, warm memory chip, that concept of you're just living your life in that cycle that you brought up, and then he like turns it on its head. Random sample, hold the one you need. If you can break out of that cycle and go to something random, that's going to give you what you need and help you evolate from the norm, as Getty puts it later.
Evolate. I love that.
But yeah, I love this one. This was actually the song that pushed me over the edge and made me learn the bass also, because it's such a cool bass line, just right up there front and center. And then of course it's the only time that Getty takes a legit solo on the bass, and so that was always super cool to me. That
definitely
I just love that thing.
Tim from Fly By Night is here.
A legit solo.
In a recorded song. Because obviously
no, sir.
Here we go.
I'd like to ask you to back up one track and go to Witch Hunt. There is no guitar solo, it's a bass solo. one song, same album, right before Vital Signs. You missed it.
So you have to go learn Vital
Wow.
Signs and come back.
Right.
and
Oh, actually,
totally-
Yeah,
Rocky,
I'm gonna have to go.
no, do me a favor. Go listen to Witch Hunt. Boom. Bam. That
Bam,
just
owned.
happened.
Yeah.
Man, Dennis
Okay.
is
Now that I
so
think of it,
But,
yeah,
but it's a great bass solo.
it is. It is.
It's too
Yeah,
late,
now
Tim.
that you say that, I do remember
Yeah.
that. But at the time when I learned Vital Signs, I was like, this is the only bass solo. But so yeah, but yes, it is. And then I mean, because obviously later, you look at Loving with Strangiato and he takes an epic bass solo there. And then, there's so many other places that arguably he could have a bass solo. But yeah, for what I meant was at the time, me learning the bass, I'm like, this is the only time he's done a bass solo. So obviously I have to learn this.
Well, and I understand what you're saying, because you could say, well, wait a second, he also did bass solos in YYZ, but
Yeah.
but that's at a stopped part of everybody. It's just him. It's not.
Yeah.
Drums aren't carrying on. Guitar's not carrying on. And so you get the same thing in Witch Hunt and then Vital Signs. They're all, guitar and drums are still doing their thing, but it is Geddy stepping out and playing lead bass.
It's
La
such a-
Villa Strangiato, it's not really a bass solo. It's a little, now I mean, drums are going, but there's no guitar. It's
Yeah,
just a
it's
little quick
like a little
jam
fill
in the
jam
rhythm
thing.
section. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's-
So
But yeah, that's what I love about Vital Signs in particular, is that Geddy, like he takes more of a lead role, because I mean Alex is just doing mainly rhythm guitar the whole time. He doesn't have his trademark kind of blending of rhythm and lead, and so it leaves more space for Geddy to just wail.
yeah. I'll go next.
Sweet.
I wanted you to go last.
Nope. Vital Signs. Has anybody seen the video for Vital Signs? Not in concert video, but the video.
I
Nope.
don't think I
I
have.
remember.
Okay, everybody has got homework tonight.
You said
Get
there'd
on
be
YouTube.
no math.
Yeah, it's nothing big. All the videos that they did from moving pictures, it's just them, in the studio recording, but on this particular video, they tricked it up a little bit. At the beginning of the song, you get through the first verse, and then you get to the but it's really, tight and crisp. Well, at the beginning of the song, it's just all regular face, nothing big, but then they all put on sunglasses for that part right there, which got me thinking, was that them trying to be cool, or was that them trying to look like the band The Cars?
That's a good
Anyways,
That's a good
so
question.
so
But wouldn't
watch
that
the video.
negate the coolness?
question. Excellent point, Jay.
Thank you.
You got an issue with The Cars?
You might think it's crazy, but
This is what
Cars
I love.
fun.
This is what I love about Vital Signs. Everything that y'all have said, I completely agree with. I love the
Better.
left right speaker of the beginning with Alex's guitar. That is so good.
Yeah.
Neil, once again, he's and the late great Taylor Hawkins said this while inducting Rush into the Hall of Fame. He wasn't just, his drum parts weren't just keeping time, just drum parts. They were as musical as any of the notes Geddy ever played on keyboard, bass, or Alex ever played on the guitar. and his approach to this song, just the beginning, steady 16th notes on the hi-hat, and then the kick drum with just that little splash cymbal hit. It's so choice. My favorite part of the song, and I can imagine this, and who did the first Avengers movie, Jay?
Josh
first
Whedon,
one?
Tim.
Yeah, not the actor, but who directed that?
Josh Whedon, Tim.
Joss
Okay.
Whedon. I think, is your name Jay?
Watch out, he'll
See what I did
change it.
there?
He'll
See what I
J.C.
did
change
Moore,
it.
there?
Tim. J.C. Moore.
See, when Hulk shows up, or Bruce shows up, and he hulks out, and then they all start really kicking the alien butt.
Yes.
The next part in Vital Signs should have been the music playing when they really just open it up, the da 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 da, leave out the fiction. Now you could have kept the words out, but just have that music, and I would have been, yes, Hulk smash. It just makes me think of, the heroes, rising to the occasion and coming in to just smash evil. And then it gets quiet again with a really cool drum solo or drum fill to get us back down. And now, what drum does Neil use at the beginning when they go into whatever the words are, but all the music stops and you hear a tired mind become a shapeshifter. What drum is he using?
I don't know.
Is it like a piccolo snare or something?
No.
High-pitched
No,
something.
not the little tap, but he does a dun, 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 a tired mind becomes a shapeshifter. No, it is not a snare drum. Name it, Jay.
I used to know. I just can't think of it right now.
I just don't want to say it right now.
It's his timbales.
That's right. Yes.
Tamales.
I love
Right.
I love tamales.
How many rock bands and or rock songs have you ever heard? And we're talking about rock, so we're not talking about Tejano music, nothing like that, where the timbales get showcased a little bit.
That's a very good point.
I'm just going to say that. Now, my favorite lyric comes at the very end, right before they start to fade, when Getty, for some reason, sings, "Everybody gets lemonade from the north."
I think you might have misheard that.
No. I've never looked at the lyric sheet before, but that's what I hear him say.
Everybody gets lemonade from the north. Is that what it's? Yeah.
Everybody gets lemonade from the north. Everybody gets lemonade.
Now I could be mistaken, but I think it's actually everybody got to elevate from the norm.
Jay, you're wrong again. I'm telling you, man.
You're right. I'm
Listen
totally
to
wrong.
it.
I got that wrong.
No, but I did. I used to think that's what he was singing.
That's funny. I
Which
like that
makes-
line better.
which makes no sense whatsoever for everything else. Deviate from the norm and all that stuff. Why would he start saying get lemonade from the north?
I
Just
think
had to
that would,
deviate from the norm.
yeah, and you know what? Exactly.
point.
Make sure you're paying attention.
See? Yes. There we go.
That's a good point. I love
But
it.
I love that song now, and I've talked to Jay and Shane about this. Let's see if Adam and Julianne know. What song from Moving Pictures was their last song to play on the Moving Pictures tour?
I don't know. I never watched that one.
What would you think it is? So
We
it's
Got
the
the Beat?
moving
Like
picture.
Bachata?
It's not
feel
We
bad.
Got the Beat,
Oh,
Don't feel bad because we talked about it and I don't know.
because he doesn't listen. So I mean,
What?
what would you think? To me, I would have thought it would have been either Tom Sawyer or maybe Limelight on the Moving Pictures tour,
Mhm.
1981. Okay, no, it was Vital Signs.
I was just gonna say that.
Yes,
But
it
I didn't.
was Vital Signs. And
Hey,
That's
you
now,
should speak up, Jay, because you're usually right.
now,
Yeah.
you,
According to my sources.
you have watched the concerts. Have you watched the Grace Under Pressure tour
I
concert?
don't remember which ones that we've seen. I don't know. Have we watched that one? Because you have quite a few.
Mm,
Because
yeah.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Okay, so it's not like how they really gave us the entire show with R40 and R30 and Rush and Rio, Snakes and Arrows, where you're pretty much getting the entire show. No, Grace Under Pressure, just like the Exit Stage Left concert, it's all cut up. You're not getting the whole show. But in their encore for Grace Under Pressure, they go into Vital Signs, and the crowd, when we get to the heroes are rising up to go kick some butt, the crowd is going insane. That's
That's
a
so
great, it's a great song. It's a great song. I like Vital Signs. I love Vital Signs.
We know his.
Do you, Tim?
Do you?
Yes, I love Vital Signs. I love Vital Signs. Okay, I'm done.
I think Tim went longer than me this time.
Oh, I think so.
Well, when
Good
you
job,
love
Tim.
something,
I'm proud of you, son. I'm proud of you. Julianne.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so this song was a slow burn for me for a long time. In kind of me getting it. I don't know why, like it was because like I love most every single rock song, but for whatever reason, like it took me a while to like quote get this song. But then once it clicked, I was like, oh yeah, this is like really, really cool. And I just love the opening synth. So I'm a sucker for anything synth. Just like explains my obsession with like all of the 80s Rush albums. But I love the synth in the beginning, and I liked what you were saying about before with doing, or both you were saying it too, but like doing something different, changing things up, because that's something that like a principle that is highlighted in my life all the time, because I'm in the pre and postnatal field as like my day job, and that something we talk about in fitness all the time is if you train something the same way all this time, you're going to be really good at doing it in that way. So let's do something different and get better at every single way of doing something. And so that's just a principle that I think about every day. And so I like love that this song just highlights that principle. And
Nice.
the ending is just something else. Like it's the same exact line, but then it's different every time he does it, and so then it just like draws you into like this ending of, it seems like it's never ending, but then I don't know, it's really cool. So yeah, this is a really cool track and a really cool way to end the album, I think, too.
I never noticed that. He's kind of in the ending. I never done that in the ending. He's mixing it up.
Yeah.
Like just mixing it up between elevate, escalate, deviate. He's doing what the song says you should do. I never
That's
noticed.
really fascinating.
that just
Wow,
blew my
cool.
mind.
I know. Awesome.
That's some
So glad we did this.
I'm going to have to call in sick to work tomorrow.
I'm impressed. Tim's never blown up. His mind is never blown.
He's usually the mind blower.
Yeah, it's true.
Good job.
Jay, I
All
don't
right.
think we've heard from you about the vital signs.
We haven't. Well, first of all, I want to mention something. We're talking about the music. I was reading this thing on the interwebs.
Jay
was
was
from-
reading.
It was from an yeah, I know. I'll teach you sometime, Tim. Um, there's
Good luck with
an
that.
article from a book or a magazine called Guitar for the Practicing Musician. It was an interview with Neil Peart, and he made the statement. He said, I still think this song represents a culmination, the best combination of music, lyrics, and rhythm. And it opens up so many musical approaches from being very simplistic and minimal to becoming very overplayed. Everything we wanted in a song is there. So that song was very special to us. So it's special to Neil. And I see that. I see it's a nice culmination of it. It's not just for me. Usually when I listen to a Rush song, I focus on one area or the other. I don't really, I hear the whole, this or that, I hear the song as a whole. As far as some of my observations, I wrote them down. Let me see. Oh yeah. Well, first of all, I like the fact that it's got this reggae police sound to it. Everybody got it. I like that. And it's catchy, of course. I didn't really focus on the lyrics that much, but I like it alluded to what to allude back or speak back to what Shane mentioned earlier about basically Neil is using techno speak to kind of draw comparisons in the to parallel it to the human experience. And I thought that was kind of cool. And of course, basically I think the lyrics kind of a common theme for Neil is, don't just go with the flock, elevate yourself, be better, be you. Don't just be a, follower, perhaps.
Definitely.
But overall, I absolutely love this song. This is I never really listened to it that much before, but now I can't get it out of my damn head.
Mission accomplished.
Yes.
Now,
Good job,
once
everyone. Good
again,
job.
and I've
You
said
did well.
this before. So, what if we got everybody in the world to listen to this song, understand the lyrics, and start acting upon the lyrics? So everybody now is deviating from the norm. Aren't we all just doing the same thing then?
Ooh,
That's so funny.
Now, did that just blow your mind?
I did.
It did.
You can't
Come on.
see because I'm wearing a
It's-
hat, but it's totally
Held it in.
Nice.
All right, is it voting time?
I think so.
Time.
I think we've got to make our
Voting
decisions.
time.
Mm.
That was so funny.
I mean, I'll start it off. I think for me, it's always going to be Vital Signs. As much as I love Twilight Zone and as much as I had a fixation on that, just everything that we brought up about Vital Signs and how much you can really hear the band enjoying playing it in the recording, and just especially Neil's immaculate drum composition, just like was already brought up, going from simple to complex, and just takes you on this wave. And each instrument, if you were to listen 3 times in a row and just focus on each player, you're going on a completely different trip. And so I think it's an easy choice for me to hang on to Vital Signs.
Yeah. Cool. I guess I'll just say the same. Like, I also choose Vital Signs. Like, going in, I really didn't know what I was going to choose because I do like both of them, but I think my choice is Vital Signs. I guess I know my choice is
oversold
Vital
it.
Well, we don't want to hear from Tim next. Shane, what do you think?
Signs.
What was your
This really made me think, because I've said for a while that it's too difficult to pick like the top 5, top 10, top 15. So this song made me think, and I was able to narrow down to a top 6 Rush songs, and Vital Signs is in it. So
Oh wow.
Vital
Impressive.
Signs wins for me.
Cool.
Nice.
Jay.
Well, I personally, I personally, I love the Twilight Zone song, and I love all the creepy, whispery stuff with Geddy Lee's vocals. But I mean, yeah, to allude to what you were saying, it sounds like they're having fun when they're playing, and it's just a great song. So yeah, it's Vital Signs for me.
Well, there you have it. Everyone has voted. And, oh, wait a minute.
All right. Now Tim is going to.
I'm going to shock the world.
Uh-oh. Which means he might agree with us.
I'm sorry to say this, but you guys are all wrong.
Oh,
And
I'm sorry.
and it's been proven in a court of law. It's not Twilight Zone, and it's not Vital Signs. The best song between the two is Rivendell.
I love
Was that song
Rivendell.
actually between the two and like album wise?
I'm not even mad at that.
Let me just throw out one more
Rivendell.
thing before I actually give my correct answer. What if Twilight Zone, or we could do the reverse of that, but let's say, what if Twilight Zone was on moving pictures? So better production,
It would sound way different.
better sounding. They had the money and a little bit more time to spend in Le Studio. What do you think? Would that be enough of a difference maker?
I honestly think it would fit.
It could. It could.
Yeah.
It could fit. But there's no sense in wondering what could have been. It didn't happen, and it's never going to. So
I was having so much fun.
the obvious unanimous winner is Vital Signs.
Yes.
Round of
Which
applause.
I was really
Wow.
hoping to deviate from the norm on that
I
and
see
go
what you
have
did.
some lemonade from the north. It's not going to happen.
We should
Wow.
call this episode Lemonade from the North.
That's a great idea.
Yes. Yes.
That's
funny.
great. That was great. I like this. This was a fun way of taking two songs and putting them head to head. This is why, well, you don't have to decide what's my favorite Rush song on this album or what's my favorite, but just take a couple random songs and stick them together. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
We should have them on again for like the next bracket or something like that. We do
Yeah,
pregame.
Yeah, pregame.
Oh,
pre-
yeah,
bracket
that's a
would
great
be
idea.
pretty
yeah,
sweet.
that's cool. Yeah.
But-
Yeah, 'cause-
Super fun.
But
mean-
if we want it to be a competition, you can't have a song from Moving Pictures.
Okay.
That's true.
Okay?
Fair
You-
enough. We'll choose
What-
different
'cause,
ones.
Yes.
Yeah,
you-
real
you
quick,
can't-
Tim,
What?
rank the Rush albums for them.
Oh, yeah. You'll love, yeah. Here we go.
That's going to be easy. Okay. Moving Pictures is number 1. And then second is all the other albums.
Oh, he's not kidding.
I know. I mean, I know a lot of people.
I'd like somebody to prove me wrong.
I can't prove you wrong on that.
Okay, then you can't. It can't be proven wrong. All the other albums are second, and it's not even like a close second where one is almost in third. I mean, they ran the race, and Moving Pictures is a minute 20 ahead of all the other albums that came in right at 5-minute flat.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
I mean, if we did do it, the next bracket does not have anything from Moving
Signs.
Pictures.
Well, then it
So
works out.
I think it
We'd
would
be safe. So.
be safe.
But yeah, this was super fun. It was really fun to get to
Yeah.
know you guys as well.
Yeah.
yes,
You guys
Likewise,
too.
Yes.
it was fun. And I did want to say too that y'all do a really cool job with the brackets, the organizations and the groupings of the songs are
you spent hours
fascinating.
doing it.
Yeah, it's really cool. So do you have
the
them
way
all
that I did that was it was actually when we were apart for a couple months. So I had our apartment all to myself, and I was like, I got this crazy idea. I was like, okay, so how would that look if we were gonna just have head-to-head battles with every single song? And then I had that moment where I'm like, well, we can't do the first album just because Neil isn't there, and even though he didn't write all of the lyrics for Fly By Night, he at least was influencing the music and influencing the direction of the lyrics. And so I didn't think it was fair to bring in the first album to go head to head against the bulk of Neil's writing. And so then from there, I had to figure out, okay, well, how would I group them? What kind of is some categories that these songs can get grouped under? And so I ended up picking 14 different headings. And so then it took quite a bit of time, but so they've been set for almost 2 years now. And
wow.
So now we're finally able to start doing it more consistently. But yeah, it's all planned out as far as the pairings. And so it's just going to be a fun ride to see how it all pans out eventually.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. There's a lot of songs.
Yeah. And
Both
I
are-
want to say what's exciting about this is the fact that there's a chick on the podcast.
A Rush podcast.
Right, a Rush podcast.
Yeah.
It's just like
That's
the
impressive.
reporter,
Well said, Tim.
riding around with Getty and Alex and asking them, so what motivates you? What keeps you still wanting to do this? And Alex says, the chicks.
It is a unique thing. Married Rush fans with the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
it is really cool.
though. Yeah.
Well,
I can't get my wife to listen to Rush or my podcasts.
that's so sad. Well, this has been super fun, you guys.
Yeah.
Yes, it
has.
has.
Yes.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, and thanks for having us.
Great. Oh, our pleasure.
So yeah, definitely enjoy your guys's approach to covering all the Rush songs as well, because we get a little bit more serious, and sometimes because I'm very much in my head a lot, but I really like how just at ease you guys are, just like messing around with each other and just having a fun time, because I think it's important to see that there's the serious side of Rush and there's the fun side of Rush, and oftentimes those cross more often. So
Cool.
super fun.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right.
Thank you guys.
Appreciate that. All right.
Yeah.
What's the easiest way to find your show?
We do have a website. You can go to rushdiscush.com, and then you can pick your poison on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, pretty much any podcast hosting place or podcast, anything that presents you with a podcast, you should be able to find us. We do have YouTube, and so we're going to start utilizing a video element a little bit more in this upcoming bracket.
Yeah,
But-
and we're on
Cool.
Instagram at Rush Discush and Facebook at the Rush Discush.
Cool.
Awesome. And we're everyrushsong.com and at every Rush Song on every social media platform.
Cool.
Sweet.
Well, I don't know if you've noticed, but Tim has a great way of ending a podcast episode. If you would indulge us.
Providence, Rhode Island. You've been a wonderful audience tonight. Thank you very kindly. Good night.